Day 2 was when things really heated up. A marathon run. Two special stages and a long transport. All put together 450 kilometers. It's day 2 and we start with the 17-kilometer short, stubby Mansar Surinsar special stage. As you can see, it's long, flat, fast piece of tarmac. So here you're going to see the competitors fly, quite literally. And fly they did. It was the survival of the fittest and indeed fastest. With a modified rally machine staring down the sinewy strip of tarmac, SS2 was fluid and ferociously fast.
Second day, the first competitive is very small in length. It's 17 kilometers, but that would rival International Rally Championship competitive or a WRC competitive.
So normally the gypsy cuts off at around 125, and I was amazed. I was waiting for it to cut off. It'll cut off. 130 straight, it'll cut off. I was like, what is this, man? Why is it not cutting off?
There were times actually my gypsy turned almost 180 degrees on a turn.
It is on extremely smooth gravel, very quick, and as a result of higher speeds can also get dangerous.
Because you know it was such a flat out stage, and I mean there were times if you did not lift off, you would just turn turtle in times.
One place we took a left and our gypsy went full on to the parapet on the right side, and it banged on the parapet. If the parapet was not there, I think we were down the hill.
We actually flew over those stages and it was such a rush.
I really got really pumped when I saw that we were driving on 130.
It was about 16.9 kilometers and the time allotted was 17 minutes or so, yeah. So it was a very fast terrain, very fast track it was.
In total, we I think hit like 9 jumps, which 4 tires were in air. So you can well imagine how fast.
Me and my navigator, we thought in the beginning only, we're going to go all out, no matter what. Let us break the gypsy. It's okay, doesn't matter, because that's why we are here for. Otherwise, do the enduro category, man, if you want to drive slow.
And I had to just duck down into my seat properly, and I had to again fasten my belts because I knew there's something, if something goes wrong, we're out.
As far as the Yeti was concerned, it really did live up to its name. On the twisties, its razor-sharp handling bowled me over. Now what I like the best about this car is the low-slung stance. I mean, this car squats down like a bloody sumo wrestler. It hugs every pore of the road. So it doesn't really matter what speed you're throwing her at on the corners. It still retains its line, and it's got a very nice, suspension setup and a perfectly weighted and well-balanced steering wheel. So, all in all, this SUV is a driver's car. So if you're in the market, you're looking for an SUV, a diesel one at that drives like a car, I think this is it. On rough and rutty rally stages, the suspension soaked up all the bumps without rearranging my internal organs. Its 4x4 will get you out of sticky situation, but is it hardcore? Today, the Skoda Yeti swam over pretty much everything that the Mughal Rally had to offer, and that has brought me to a rather interesting conclusion. The Yeti is not your elder brother's 4x4 Jeep, nor is it your daddy's Fortuner. This is a new school SUV, and what it means by that is that this is not going to eat mountains up for breakfast. However, if you do throw a mountain at her, she's going to take a lot more than just a bite, because it's got a lot of good bits by its side. For example, a very able all-wheel drive system, traction control, it's got hill descent control, it's got electronically lockable differentials. So the only sad part is that it lacks the requisite ride height. I mean, the ground clearance is a bit too low. That keeps you away from doing anything which is too adventurous. So it drives great, it's capable of more than moderate mud plugging, and the only sore point is the ground clearance. Well, not exactly. The biggest and the most annoying glitch with this car is that it stalls at slow speeds. Every time you hit the brakes a bit too hard, it stalls to a stop. And what's worse is that you have to kill the engine completely and crank her up all over again. Now, last night only, I stalled to a stop and almost got kissed by a big bus. So all these frequent stalls, they're nothing but a piss-off situation.
Then it was time for the last and the longest competitive. The punishing 90-kilometer-long SS3. The climb to Sinton had started killing cars.
Last year was rainy, we had snow. It actually worked well for the competitors. The engines ran cooler, and because there was no dust because of the rain, this year it's really hot. So I imagine that cars would suffer from overheating.
I broke my header climbing the pass up, which led to loss of power.
Pack leader Sunny Sidhu was the fastest on the Mughal road. With the climb to Sinton, slayed his podium dreams.
As soon as we started the last section, actually the mechanics had fitted the, one of the straps which came loose and was cutting into the hose pipe. So that burst after a while. We also failed to notice it because it was under the car. Stroke of bad luck basically.
Now this is the first car that stormed past us today in the morning when we started shooting at daybreak. Now it stands here and Sunny Sidhu is out of the Mughal Road Rally. Which brings us to reiterate the point that we keep making in all our motorsport coverage. Maintaining your car and taking it to the end is the most important thing, not finishing on the podium.
An oil leakage seized Rana's engine. And Bawa packed up too. The short circuit of the electricals snipped his rally shot. Vijay offered a helping hand, but it was too late. The car's electricals were fried.
जो लास्ट स्टेज थी उसमें मेरे को प्रॉब्लम आ गया, वायरिंग में आ गया प्रॉब्लम, वायरिंग शॉर्ट हो गई जिस कारण मैं आउट हो गया. जो हमारे इसमें चल रहे टॉप 3 चल रहे थे वो सभी के सभी आउट हो गए उसमें.
It was really uncanny actually to have 3 guys go in 40 kilometers and that also the top 3.
The sprint down from Sinton bled the brakes out, threatening to cull out more drivers.
I want to warn the drivers that they should try and drive sensibly, not on brakes alone, because certainly they'll lose braking capacity on their way down.
So with the top guns wiped out, the middle order moved up. As for us, we were still making the climb.
Now we got awfully late filming, and just after sundown we got our first rear flat. And the irony is that we've exhausted all our batteries, the camera batteries, trying to change tires using the camera battery light. It's 9:30 right now. We've hit Sinton Pass, which is the highest point this rally crosses through. It's roughly about 12,000 plus feet. I have to say this, I have done this route during the recce. I did it last year as well. But nothing beats the thrill of traveling this stretch at night. I mean, it's just one of a kind.
Adventure and all is all good, but and the drive up to 12,000 feet in the dead of the night was also something that probably is at the top of the mad things that Team Times Drive has done. But I think it's very dark and it's also very cold. So it's advisable that we start moving before we all turn into popsicles.
Popsicles aren't ice.
As the dust settled, the new Mughals were crowned. The top spot was seized by Gaurav Chiripal. Harkaran came in second, followed by Karan Jung. Team Khyber took home the team trophy.
Now the Mughal Road Rally 2011 was all about the underdogs. I mean, the top contenders crashed out and the underdogs took the podium. And according to me, another underdog who deserves nothing less than a trophy is the Skoda Yeti. You know why? Because we drove her up all the way from Mumbai to Srinagar, then subjected her to the punishment of the Mughal Road. But I have to confess, never did it for once bow down, never did it for once miss a single beat. It took everything and anything we threw at her. That brings me to a conclusion that the Yeti, the abominable snowman, may be a rumor, hearsay or a fictional tale, but the Yeti on wheels is definitely for real.
And And so after 2 days of constant adrenaline and 700 kilometers through some of the most beautiful yet physically dangerous parts of Kashmir, it was time to return to the urban grind. But before we left, a promise was made. 2012 Mughal Road Rally, here we come. And if you're going to be there, then so will you.